You love me so, me so, me so. I know. You love me so, me so, me so. I know. You love me so, me so, me so.
Ladies and gentlemen, navigators, welcome to yet another blistering episode. On this, the special month of August, we are running a series of Women's Day in celebration, in recognition, and in admiration of our women. We are missing Viwe. She is the missing link in our episode today, but I will try and fill in the gap. I am not alone, as she would say. I sit not alone, I stand not alone, I converse certainly not alone. I am joined by two amazing women with me in the studio this evening. I've got our zestful Zikona, Dr. Hlalimpini. And then I've got our IT expert.
Wow.
And a published author, Miss Luntu Sipuka. Welcome, ma'am.
Woo.
Ladies and gentlemen, certainly our women deserve a place in society. They don't have to fight for a place in society. They have to be recognized and carefully and loved and ensconced in their rightful place in society. Every one of us can point to a moment in history when a woman played a crucial part in our shaping, in our molding, and in our becoming. Zikona.
Oh, yes.
From the beginning, you've been a woman, you're still a woman. You continue to play your part in life, in the universe. Now, with your experience, fast forward to the time you were married. What was your experience as a traditional wife?
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Sadly, I was not really a traditional wife. Okay. This is in the sense that I did not cook or wash clothes or iron clothes. I still can't really do those things. But I mean, traditionally, gosh, I supported my husband. Gosh, I supported my husband so much. I
Bless
mean,
your heart.
when I met my husband, I was a doctor. I was Dr. Hlalimpini.
Okay.
My husband was a second-year student
Okay.
who was aspiring to be an accountant.
All right. Was he younger?
He was much younger. He was 6 years younger.
Oh, okay.
So when I met him, I was an intern in Peter Maritzburg, and I supported him through his career. That I did. I played that part. My family played that part. We traditionally, I would say, my entire family played the part of supporting him. I was not just the one married to him. My family was married to him too. My mother would cook for him. My mother would do so many things for him. And so traditionally, ours was a bit different because it was really my family and I who were in this marriage, so to speak. And gosh, I supported that man, you know. I even remember there was a time after he had finished becoming an accountant, I was like, why don't you go to Stellenbosch and do an MBA? I want you to do something that is more. There's going to be more people that are going to be CAs. You need to be more than a CA. I'm willing for you to go.
Yourself.
That's sort of, So I supported him. Let me dare to say I supported him financially.
Right.
I supported a lot of things financially. He drove an Alfa Romeo. I had bought. The insurance was on me. Everything was on me. So I supported him. He was my husband. I loved him. And that was my traditional role. And it was the role that to me seemed to satisfy him. He didn't seem like an unsatisfied person.
All right.
So my traditional, as different as it was, I think it suited his needs at the time. And because he became what he wanted to become. And my family and I tried. We really tried. It was not just me who married him. My entire family married him.
All right. Was it part of your value system? Did you feel like you were doing something out of the comfort zone because you were just trying to impress the family, impress what the society perceived a traditional wife to be?
You know what, Mawetu? I grew up Mormon.
Right.
As a Mormon, when I was 20, by the time I was 23, I was the oldest of my friends to have to had not been married. So by the time I'm 23, even a fly that would go that had gone by with a ring, I would have said, yes, fly. Yes, fly, yes, yes. Everybody's saying you are choosing medicine. When are you going to be a wife? When are you going to do these things? So I would say for me, a lot of the marriage ideal came from the church aspect. People younger than me were married.
Right.
Mormon people traditionally didn't necessarily go to school. They became housewives or would have things like preschools where they look after their children and the children of other people. So, I mean, as a Mormon, the value system was that I did not want to have sex outside of marriage. So marriage for me has always been important because also the value was that no sex outside of marriage. So for me, I would say that played a huge role. And I was a big Mormon, I was a really big Mormon. It was
quite
for me.
committed.
I was
Devoted.
quite committed. I was quite, and I believed everything. I actually married in the Mormon faith when I was younger. When I was 23, I got married. And when I married my first husband, because the marriage I always talk about is my second one, because my first marriage, we were married for a very short time. It was a Mormon marriage. And when we married, yes, in the Mormon church, we were told that if we believed in God, there are no soulmates. If both of you believe in God, you'll go to heaven. So my first marriage, both of us, I don't think we even knew what love is. We didn't love each other. We had not fallen in love with each other, but we both wanted to go to heaven.
Right.
And of course, that was such a disaster. But it became such a value system for me that it went on and on.
A larger part of it was driven by religion.
Religion.
Nolontu, we often hear of unsavory relations between the daughters-in-law and the sisters-in-law. And sometimes it doesn't have to be the sisters-in-law. It can be everyone in your spouse's family, or husband's family. What was your experience regarding your in-laws and how you were perceived generally as a makoti?
Wow. It's very, jeez. You know how it's a concept in the African culture that umakoti will not be received.
Right.
I always say to my sister-in-laws, guys, I think I got the better deal because I get along with my in-laws. My mother-in-law was the sweetest, still is. I still have a relationship. As much as I am divorced with my husband, I still have a relationship.
Right.
And I suppose it's because of my personality as well. I'm intentional with the relationships I build.
Right.
I still talk to my father-in-law. I remember I had a candid argument one time with my father-in-law. And from that argument that I had, which I will not disclose, my father-in-law said to me, Makhated, which is my clan name. Kungona ndikwaziyo ngoku.
Wow.
Ndiyakwazi ke ngoku mabhongane. Hayi, ndikuvile. I didn't have really good relationships with my ex-husband.
Right.
But I phone my sister-in-law and I tell him, there's a guy that likes me. Please break this down for me. Then we laugh it off. That's the kind of relationship I have. I speak to my mother-in-law as if I speak to my mom. The same thing, and I suppose it's also how I was raised by my mother.
Right.
Kudos to my mom. Because my mom gave me is it in the Bible, the speech that says, she once said to me, we're coming from a church conference, and she said to me, since this boy has said he has intentions, you are actually going to be a Ruth. So where your mother-in-law goes, you shall go.
Wow.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear. If your mother-in-law is evil, if your mother-in-law is what, I don't want to hear that. And remember, I was raised predominantly by my mother and my grandmother because my dad left us early in life.
Right.
So what she said to me was like Bible. So when I walked into that household, with a clean slate to say, whatever you guys write on me will be. And I got a mother-in-law who was not judgmental. I remember when my husband was cheating on me, and my mother-in-law said, you are the only person we want in this household. If anyone, mtanam, mpanishe. And I'm like, she's talking about his son. Is this woman right in the head?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of love that I've experienced, and honesty. I mean, I was honest to them. I said, you're not going to get a wife that's going to be like, lay later, mama. I can't work. I'm good with many other things, but labor is not my strong forte. And she was so understanding, and so was my father-in-law. And my way to the first time I went, like the first time, you know, when ungumakoti usiwe mzini. My father-in-law actually said to my family, ningathethi into yonke kulo mntana. Don't scare this child. And then she said to me, akuvukwa ke mntanam apha.
Oh, man.
And I'm thinking it's so opposite. At home, we are morning risers. And at this house, you get people at 8 o'clock, they're still sleeping.
All right. I kind of like that. So you were sort of like norming and forming there.
Yes, I was norming and forming.
So something piqued my interest. You spoke about your husband having cheated on you.
My ex-husband, yes.
Yeah. And now I am thinking abuse is but part of our conversations, you know, this evening. So your experience of all forms of abuse in your marriage, I'm sure somehow you were misunderstood because you are not just a stay-at-home mom. You were corporate, right?
Yes.
And you were expected to be a superwoman. So what experiences of abuse have you?
Before I became
you
corporate,
encountered?
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Like, you know how in isiXhosa there's umtshato nomendo? I ndendile for 12 months. Wenzile umendo. I lived with my parents-in-law. I cooked for my parents-in-law. And I'd have dinners with my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, and I would talk in the absence of my husband, who we are expecting to be in the dining room table with us. And that sort of gravitated because then there was a need. There were kids coming along. I was also pregnant, and I thought, you know what, let me go back to corporate. So when I got into corporate, I really tried to do the balance. Come home from work, cook for the husband, give him a hot plate from the tray, because it's also lessons that were imparted from me that indoda ke iphathelwa ukutya kuqhuma from the stove, not microwave. So those are things that I really tried to keep up.
And you invested yourself.
And I invested my time in that. And the time that he then cheated on me, and the time that he had, you know, because it starts with cheating and you confront, and then in the confrontation comes the beating, you know? And I remember the first time he slapped me. His parents came into because I screamed, like, Mama, Dad, I've never been beaten in my life. So I screamed. And his mom and dad came, wanting to know what is the matter. And my ex-husband's response was, no, Asqaban, usilelo. Tata woya umfazi wakho mama. Ngowam lo mtshato.
That bold.
And he's very verbose. When he gets to that, he's very verbose. And there's wisdom, though, in what I find his parents doing. Because his parents take a step back and they... And many times I used to be like, but why are they backing down? But now I've actually realized the older I grow and the more that I see is that there is wisdom. And they are now saying, it's fine. You say you don't need us. We'll take a step back. But we will then allow you and give you the grace to do what is right.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
And the second time he beat me was in front of a town. So all that know me, they know I'm a small town girl. I married a small town. And I think my marriage was very calculated because
this time around, the
my
humiliation.
ex-husband is from Tsolo. So I didn't want to travel like a long time to go home to meet my mom and my family. So when he beat me that one night, it was in where he normally drinks. And what really crushed my spirit was you know, when you're being beaten, you're down, like on the floor, lying on the floor, and this guy's continuing to hit you. Then someone says, but utheni njena? Akekho njena lo mntu. Umenzeni? Meaning I'm the problem.
You
And
drove him into
I drove him
state
into
of
this
abusing.
insanity. And to be honest, there is no reason that a man would lose his cool. He's got options. He's got an option to go away.
Yeah.
But he chooses the option to raise his fists against someone who would never raise their fist against them.
Indeed.
You know?
I think it's just not a justified.
Yes.
If you may just hold it right there, Noluntu, we'll get back to it. Zikhona, do you have any memorable incident that drove you to a state of self-doubt because of the abuse that you had endured? I don't know if the abuse that you had endured was physical, but does it take you to a space where you felt less of a person and you had to reconstruct your life?
Wow. Definitely. Definitely. I would say for me, I didn't quite realize that I was being beaten up until I went to therapy. My ex-husband had this thing. Our bedroom was upstairs, and upstairs somehow there was this sliding door. Ne? So the sliding door sort of acted as the window. So there was no traditional window in our bedroom. So there was this sliding door, and for the longest time we didn't put a trellis door in it, ne? Because we had children. We should have one of the first things we should have done was put a trellis door in it. But so for the longest time it was always this trellis door that has no protective cover. So my husband would always would always grab me and open the sliding door and push me on the floor, drag me on the floor. He would do that, and I don't know to lie. In my mind, I didn't think that I was being beaten.
Right.
And those things, in my mind never recorded that every time he did that was an act of violence. For me, my husband loved me. For me, my mind had to protect itself by saying that maybe that was also an act of love. Yes, you in denial. When you want something to work, and especially if you have 4 children, it's so difficult to tell yourself to tell yourself some truths. Your mind protects you by giving you a totally opposite truth. And for me, it really struck a chord when it happened. I remember we had been fighting about something, and I ran downstairs. I took the car keys and I went to the Alpha because I was paying for it. Ne? And he was leaving the house with the Alpha. So, you know what I mean? He must leave by himself, and must I'm paying for this one.
Yes.
So I went into the car and I locked myself into the car. Somehow he was able to open the car, and then he dragged me. My sister was there. The helper was there. And my sister was standing there. She was scared. The helper was standing there. She was scared. And luckily, after some time, my sister's husband came. So now when what happens to you becomes a witness to other people become witnesses to it, you start to realize that, hey, there's a problem. I remember my sister saying, oh, this person doesn't love you. Yes, it's and for me, I'm like, my husband loves me. You know what I mean? It took a very long time to understand that he had stopped loving me a long time ago. And it took a long time. A lot of acts he did, things like bringing girlfriends into our home when we're having parties, bringing girlfriends, and me being this person who's bringing food to girlfriends. Is everything okay? Do you need drinks? Do you need that? You know, all of those things were very abusive, and for a long time, your self-worth, who you are,
Yes.
it
diminishes.
It diminishes. You know, you look at your looks. Am I ugly? Am I lovable? What is it about me that is not lovable? So it takes time. You know, it takes a lot of therapy to get back to you.
Get through. Now, to both of you, I can pick. You can start Noluntu. You can join in Zikhona. Let it be a tag team sort of thing. So to both of you, how all right. Oh, wow. Okay. This is a beautiful discovery. So now, with those experiences, I'm sure, obviously, it must have put you in a dark space
Did.
where you've had a certain dim view of man.
It
So
did.
how did it affect your perception of men, knowing that you were born of one yourself? Could you tell the difference, or did you have a blanket approach that men are, after all,
I think my way to
silent abusers?
from where, like, it really helped growing up in the family I grew up in. I always refer to myself, and every time my brother calls me, I'm like, "Hi, ya bulisa, princess katata," and he always laughs at it, because in the 8 years I had with my father,
Right.
he doted on me, and when he passed on, and bless his soul,
Yeah.
my grandfather, my mother's father, doted on me.
Oh, man.
And my father's father doted on me.
So you had a pretty healthy
So,
experience.
so I had a pretty healthy experience of what men's love is.
Right.
And when he, and remember, abuse is not just only, it starts physical. It's a deconstruction. Like, why are you wearing that short? So I've got beautiful legs, by the way, like really, really nice legs. Knock it off the ballpark. But then my ex-husband thinks that he loved, then he would start nitpicking on them.
Yeah.
My mind is a labyrinth. He would nitpick on how intelligent I was. Clever. Clever. You start to believe the labels. You start to think you're not pretty. You start to think, okay, let me wear long things. This satisfies him.
You start to see yourself.
You
through
start
his
to
lens.
see yourself through his lens. And when you see yourself through his lens, you lose yourself. And then obviously he is going to become unattracted to you because you're not what actually attracted him in the first place. I'm bold. I'm able to say, "Aya pambana." You know how men don't like that? "Aya pambana, asun pambanela mna." And he knows what it means. But because of where it came from and where he was, how he saw me, the lens he saw me, that for him was what I was. And I took what he saw me as
Right.
really, this is what I was. And I shrunk a lot.
Oh, man.
I lost my voice. But I was fortunate because I had sisters-in-laws that said to me, "Get out.
Yeah. That's so
If this is not it for you, get out. We'll
Right.
still love you.
Sure.
We'll still be part of this family.
Right.
But if we lose you, we lose the kids, and we can't lose you. We can't lose him. As much as we love him, but we also love you."
Wow.
Zikona,
Wow.
men are trash. Your perspective, your views, your thoughts? Your reflections?
I've got 3 children that are men. Men can never be trash.
Hallelujah. Glory.
I am raising 3 amazing men. They can never be trash.
I love that positive
No,
testimony
that's
from men,
that.
because
No,
there is
no.
that movement.
No. That movement, I fight against that movement on a daily basis, even in my workspace. You know, where people come with really petty stories that don't make sense about what men have done to them. You know, that don't make sense. You know, men are not trash. I cannot be raising trash. And I mean, my experience of having married someone who didn't love me, who wanted me for the right of assisting him get to where he needed to go in life, doesn't actually mean that that's what all men do. You know, it was my experience. And someone else's experience is different. Men have done so many amazing things. I mean, if you even go to discoveries, if you go to history, a lot of discoveries were made by men. Yes, women also made nice discoveries, isn't it?
Right.
But I'm a man lover. I could never be a man hater. I'm a man
Bless
lover.
you.
I'm a man lover. I kiss my men. I kiss my boys every day. I mean, they're gonna grow up to be loving men. I love them. They're going to love back. So Mawethu, let's not take our love of yours not to think that whatever experiences they're going through, summarize the whole experience of what men are. I've met really good men.
Right.
I've met really good men, and I still believe that I'm gonna meet really good men.
All right, that's a refreshing perspective because we can understand sometimes when you try to get into the psyche of female victimhood, there can be statements that are coming from a place of hurt, a place of disjointedness, and a whole lot of dejection that comes with abuse. Now, abuse in the home, on the home front, and abuse in the workplace, abuse in society. But before we get to the other spheres of our worlds, now you obviously had to break away from the marriages that were no longer that were untenable, right? So was there a pushback? Did people still encourage you to stay in the availability, overwhelming availability of evidence of abuse that was actually dragging you and making you lose your self-worth? How was your experience in terms of the
Support, ne?
and the intermediaries and the intervention from your families?
I mean,
Right.
for me personally, Shem, I don't want to lie. I was brought up by a mom who loved me,
Right.
The first kind of love I met through her. I mean, I breastfed till I was 7. So I mean, there was nothing that was coming out, but I still wanted the breast.
Yeah.
But when I was divorcing, my mom sat me down and said, 4 kids, Sikona, 4 kids. There is no future that you're going to have with any other man. There's no man who's going to accept a person with 4 kids. I don't care that you are a doctor, my child. I don't care that you read all these history books and poetry books. There is just no man that's going to accept 4 children. And I mean, hearing that from your mom is a bit disheartening, because this person you really look for, you really, I mean, her opinions matter a lot to you. You want to please them as well in the actions that you take and the decisions you take in your life. I mean, my mom really felt about, hey, I'm done, hey, by 4. And I mean, for me, I knew I was not going to be able to stay. It is not, there are some things that I know about me for sure. There are things that are in my DNA. I'm a very vengeful person. I knew that I would cheat on him for the rest of my life, and that was going to make me something else for the rest of my life. I'm vengeful. I'm that person. There's a saying that says, when you journey on the journey of revenge, dig 2 graves. I'm always ready with 2 graves. I don't care
graves.
that I also die in the
So
process.
revenge is the way?
For me, I know myself. Those Chinese movies you used to watch when
You kill me, I kill your brother.
You kill my family.
20
I kill
years
your.
ago. Yeah.
Am I making sense? I know
yeah.
that is my essence. At some point you have to know your essence. I knew my essence. I knew my essence is not forgivable. I knew there are things I cannot forgive, and I knew that cheating is not gonna be forgivable. And I chose to die. And in the process of dying my way I was admitted 4 times in mental institutions. 4 times I chose to die. I remember there was a time where my medication was changed so many times. I was now on 2nd level drugs. I didn't even know that in depression, the 2nd line. I'm like, what? As Zikona, 1st line has failed.
So
we're now taking you to 2nd line.
So staying would not have been the option.
It would not. I chose to rather go the difficult route. There was a time where they wanted to do ECT, when they like induce seizures,
Right.
because my brain was just not taking the antidepressants well. So I chose that because I knew I was never gonna forgive him.
Right.
And I know that I did what everybody thought is not doable, but I went on with my 4 children. I'm okay now.
You're okay now.
It was yes. I was not okay for many years. I'm okay now.
And you're a perfectly functioning mother.
Yes, and
4
functioning.
beautiful children.
Yes, I'm functioning now. It took time.
So to stay or to go?
That is the question.
Yeah, from the parents. Yeah, sure.
Look,
Or
my
whoever
mother, because no
intervened.
one has ever divorced in my family. So I'm the first divorcee. In my maternal side.
Right.
But in my paternal side, I'm not.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
But my mom, because she's leading women in church, she stayed, she bekezela, she endured. And, she then was anti, because I would say it. And the thing is, what my family still doesn't understand, and a lot of people, when I'm serious, I joke. Anything that I'm going to implement.
I love the contrast.
Yes, anything that I'm going to implement, I put it in as humor. And then people don't take me seriously. And when I act, I say, no, but Dan, I'm like, no, you don't know me. Because I don't like heaviness. So I did mention this a couple of times. I think my sisters-in-laws caught it on. That she's been saying it for a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I had made, and it's simple, the simple decision for me to divorce was when my ex-husband sat in the car, I had to get out of the car and open the gate. And I was like, this is it.
Sure.
And it didn't take a major thing because we are in the right path. But there was a lot of things historically that had happened between us. But it took him sitting in the car and me having to open the gate and he's sitting, my mother couldn't take it. So I had to then ask my brother, listen, give me time in your very busy schedule. I need you to listen. And listen with no objective. You know me, you know my ins and out. And you're the one person in the world that can call me out. And I just laid it down for him. And his silence for me, because he went silent on the phone. He's usually interjects all the time. He went silent on the phone and he said, is this what you want? And I said, yes, now go tell your mother because I've already actioned it.
Sure.
And he said, it's fine, I'll be in East London tomorrow.
Whoa.
Wow.
And he was.
Yeah.
And he then tried to make my mother understand that this is happening, whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
This is happening. We never told my mother about the abuse. We only told my mother after I had filed. She was then shocked.
Sure.
That how can you have someone beat you and how can you not talk to, I said, it doesn't matter. I was then being Ruth.
Wow.
And for me, Mawethu, that, it taught me because my marriage, we'd interchanged. I became the solution person. I'm solution driven, by the way.
All right, I like that. Just before we get to the solutions part, I'm interested in that part. Now, I'm thinking your divorce materializes, right? And then comes the life that you have to start. You have to restore, you have to rebuild, you have to recalibrate and refine yourself, right? Now, here is this person, having done away with that burden on her shoulders,
That is you.
of being a married woman. Now you have to be single again, but this time with a baggage, right? With children and with an abundant future ahead. And society certainly has an opinion of you. Mabuye kwendeni, and all those other terms, And sometimes you become just human. Maybe there are certain things that make you tick, and people attribute that to the fact that you're coming from a failed marriage. But how were you perceived by the society? In general, what clothed you? What kept you going? What clothed you with dignity in the sea of all those comments and labels?
Now, if I can remember something, now I was in private practice. Okay, I guess at some point, maybe I shared with some people, maybe that I was admitted, I'm not well. I am still not well. To all the people who are my patients. I don't think that any of them really believe that I'm well or I'll ever be well.
Man.
But still, I'm their doctor, and every time they see me, how are you? We know that a marriage. Imagine I divorced almost 10 years ago. So there are those people that think you are broken forever, and they are the most irritating because you don't even want to talk about this marriage anymore. It's been almost 10 years. It's old news, and I'm sorry, that was the first thing I remembered. Even if I see them at ShopRite, oh mtanam, we divorced. I divorced 10 years ago.
It's forever sorrowful.
I haven't been with him for so long. We are such different people from when we were married before. He's definitely someone else. I'm someone else.
Yeah.
And I mean, continuing on with how society perceives you. I don't know how's your opinion.
Yeah, chime in, Noluntu.
Perception into people that I meet more recently as a divorced person, they take me more seriously than people who knew me as the married person who got divorced.
Wow.
I find more dignity. I find more respect in the people who meet me now versus the people who still think they know my story, who still own my apparent story. That is apparently their forever story.
Yeah.
So for me, I find that if I move to different places and I move to different circles, it's better for me than the people I knew before.
Oh, all right. No. So you've registered a whole lot of growth and metamorphosis and
metamorphosis that is only available. That is only seen by people who didn't know my divorced self.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Because people have a tendency of seeing you in the lens of your past and not your present or your future.
It doesn't make any sense.
And it doesn't. And for me, for the longest time, I used to go to, the church I was born in. If you're a wife, we are twala, And my mom, because she's a leader, and I think I worried a lot about her and her ministry, that what is she going to teach people about Begezela when her own daughter bolted out of the marriage? Right. Never mind the circumstances that made me get out of the marriage. And not until I freed myself from the shackles and said, Jonga, this is your mother's journey. You have your own ministry, you have your own journey. So walk it. She's going to walk her own. You're going to have to walk your own.
Absolutely.
Then I started saying, you know what? I'll wear my truth with a badge of honor. I'll have a purple heart because this is my life. I don't get a second shot on it. And you find, you find when the most times when I said, no, I'm going through a divorce, people would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they have this feeling that something died. And I process
that
late.
you are less.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a late processor, by the way. So something can happen now. I can process and call you like a month later. You're like, and because that's me.
Yeah.
And I never understood what they meant until I went through the whole, death cycle.
The whole process.
Yes, the whole process. But I find that I own my truth. And people react to me because I own my truth. This is me. Take me, leave me, I'll still be okay. I'll still be standing. But I loved that man, and my time with that man ended. I've closed the chapter. This new chapter is me finding myself and rebuilding and being able to take care of my kids, being a single mom, a financial mom, being a daughter-in-law. Because, like it or not, my father-in-law still tells me, hey, Viwe apa, hey, senze umgidi apa, hey.
So the relationship
and I have to appear. And the relationship doesn't end. Yes, it doesn't end.
I like the fact that the maturity prevails after all the tempestuous, experiences. So big ups to you ladies for keeping it together and becoming, fully fledged members of our society, not broken ones. Now, men must work to eat, or should I say women must work to eat this time. What are your experiences in the workplace in terms of pay differentials? Because now when women were emancipated, right, the idea was that they must be recognized in the same vein as their male counterparts. So what have been your experiences in the workplace generally, whenever you have to present and pitch documents in a male-dominated space? What were your encounters and how were you perceived there? And how did you become resilient?
In a predominantly male-driven environment, women are not really acknowledged in what they bring to the table. Remember, the table was built by a man, for men. So because society and the shift and the pentagram shift that's happening now, women are finding voices and they're finding space and they want to take over the space.
Right.
So it's still, and I still believe it favors men. I mean, you work and I think I was commenting that at some stage in my life, I would leave the office, had meetings the whole day, leave the office, come home, and I still work. Right. And I'll work till 3 or 4 in the morning, and I send my boss and my boss's boss an email at 4 in the morning. And the question I'd be asked is, why are you sending me an email at 4 in the morning? Are you expecting me to respond at 4 in the morning? Because work for you should end at 4:30. And because I'm a female in a male-dominated industry, I need to do more. And when I show up in a boardroom and I need to, and unfortunately my portfolio or I work as an advisor. I say, this is the standard. We are not in the standard. So many times I come off as a policeman with a beep-o. So people tend to shut down.
Right.
So I've learned to be assertive. I've learned, and many times I used to beg people, no, but this is how this is done. Now I've gotten to a point that says, when you need me, I'll be in my corner. Right? What you're doing, should it go sideways, don't come to me. So I found the compensation that when you ask for your worth, you're able to negotiate your worth. In the beginning, I was just told, this is my worth. Like, take it or leave it. This is your worth. And I'd have to take it because, I've got 3 kids to feed.
Right.
So this is my worth. It doesn't matter the amount of hours I put in. It doesn't matter the above and beyond that I do, but this is my worth.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh, God bless the work of your human hands. Man.
You know, and the many times I cried of my woman hands.
Yeah.
And many times I'd say, God, but where are you? And God would be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because they don't see your worth, it doesn't mean that's what I see in you.
Yeah. I love that.
So, yes, so many times. And I remember the time I walked in to negotiate my contract. Something that should have taken, an hour?
Yeah.
Took us like 3-4 days.
Right.
Because I then suddenly realized what my worth was. And I said, no, I've got institutional knowledge. I've got stakeholder relationships that I've built. So that should count for something. And anyway, by the way, what I earned in 2022 is something I earned. I didn't even earn in 2017 when I started with my organization. I earned less in 2022 than what I earned in 2017 when I started with my organization. Because that's what I was told I was worth. And I had to accept it. And you find, even in the boardrooms, in the discussions that you have, you find that your worth is being limited. But you know what? I also want to say with the same breath, it takes a different caliber of men that will look and say, what do you have to say? And when you say it, it makes sense. And they say, okay, we'll ride with what you're saying. And you're sitting there, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Is
All right,
the COO thinking this of me?
I hope you're listening, guys. Let's do better. We can.
You know, and you're like, is the CEO thinking? And you're like, the C-suite thinks so big of me.
All right.
Like, really?
Yeah.
It's the board.
Okay.
They're taking my word for
Great
it.
stuff. Great stuff.
You know.
Zikona, in your world, I know your world is corporate, but it's not corporate. You know, you're working shifts, you're working rounds, you're working. What do you call it again? Nice jargon in the ward.
In the word. Okay, I think my way to eat difference with medicine. I would say Indoba. I'd say the biggest difference
Yeah.
is that you first have to get into medical school.
Right.
So that means that your entire high school career is dependent on your future is dependent on high school. So if you manage high school and you get into medical school, I'd like to say that a lot of women have paved the path for us. A lot of great women have paved the path for us.
Yes.
As a doctor, you naturally have to be a very strong person. So the skills that are needed in a corporate environment where you're negotiating your salaries and stuff, for us, they are translated into being strong, seeing someone coming with a knife in there that's in the heart and not fainting, you know. So what is required of me is very different in terms of in a corporate setting. So as a doctor, you have to be strong. And there's one rule of medicine. It says first do no harm.
Yes.
Your life, you try to ensure that you do no harm. There's a lot of strong women who are head of departments, who are head of so many amazing things. Where I currently work, I probably know only, I think one woman was a head of something. Currently, I think there's still, where I work, there's still a lot of heads. The heads that I know are actually men. I don't know, except for this one that I suspect is a head of department in neonatology. But everywhere else that I've been, the heads have been men. So otherwise, Shem, in terms of even pay compensation, your compensation is based on how long you've been a doctor. That's when you remember when doctors when we were toying some years back, and we got the OSD and we toyed. And I remember, I think I was a ComServe or an intern. But when we toyed, there's basically, you just have to have service certificates that show that you worked in this place and this place and this place. Once you have all your service certificates, you apply for a new job, you give them your service certificates, and then you are paid according to those years that show those service certificates. So I must say, in terms of payment, guys, navigators, if in medicine, yes, now there are not as many jobs as when we got into medicine. There's lots of doctors that are sitting at home with no jobs. That was not the case when we became doctors. But payment, I don't think there's problems with payment. I have not experienced them. And the nice thing about medicine as well, corporately, is that there are doctors who've never seen someone with blood. Maybe they last saw someone as an intern. Some are in sports medicine, some are in pathology, some are in... Because when I wanted to be a doctor, I said to my aunt, but I'm scared of blood. I don't think I could be a doctor. My aunt was a doctor. I'm like, I'm so scared of blood. And she's like, you may not have to ever see blood. And I remember she explained to me the different facets of medicine, and I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't worry about blood so much, but I'm currently in blood. I'm deep in blood.
Yeah.
The blood I didn't want to deal with. So for me, I find it to be quite a rewarding experience. It's very rewarding because
Beautiful.
It's not really. I'm not too sure if you are a true doctor. You worry so much about the money. You worry so much about, have I made a difference? Did I wake up and make a difference today? And I hope, young doctors, I just hope that's what you look for, not for the cars. Ensure that the actual patients see that value. They see you and they feel healed just by seeing you. And for me, that's medicine. I hope to heal just by being Zikona without even touching you. I hope to heal you.
Wow.
And that's my hope. I think it's an amazing job. I hope more people
Get
still
healed.
do it.
That's her manifesto.
Absolutely. Yes, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been honored and blessed, privileged to be in the company of these two amazing women who have been through a lot and are wearing their scars boldly. Now, with Viwe working very hard and being, dispatched to many speaking opportunities, if you'd like to book her, you're welcome to do so. Right now, she is leisurely enjoying herself out in the Barbados. Hey, Viwe, we love you, we miss you. Vivacious Viwe. It is never the same without you. Yes, and in 1956 it was. The women went for a march, which was a change of an epoch in our lives. Lillian Goyi, Helen Joseph, Ellen Kuzwayo. That was a turning point so that women could operate in a place where they can be a full expression of themselves. Let us not at any moment dim that light in our homes, in our private spaces, and in our workspaces. Men and women have been given dominion over all things: fish of the sea, birds of the air, and creatures that crawl on earth. We can explore the subject of women who are operating in the fullness of their expression, or lingering with abusive situations at work, in the community. Let's not talk about protecting women. Let's talk about letting women thrive. Tupac Shakur says, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real with our women. I shall part with you on those words. Thank you very much for watching.
I know, you love me so, me so, me so. I know, you love me so, me so, me so.